Sometimes knowing what to draw is the hardest part about making an artwork. You can't even get started until you know what you're going to do. Well, today's creativity exercise is a strategy that you can use to give yourself a little push to get started. It can create the momentum for a great drawing. And the way it works is we start with a random squiggly line. And that random line we're going to use to come up with an idea for our drawing. And we're going to turn that squiggly line into whatever object it makes you think of when you look at it. We might include more than one object. It might look like a bunch of objects. So to complete this activity, we're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil and some colors. And when you get those supplies, come back and we can get started. The first thing we have to do is draw the squiggly line. And even though it's random, there are some guidelines to drawing the squiggly line. So first of all, something like that is too small because it leaves all this empty space for us to do the same thing we would have done before, have to come up with ideas without any kind of inspiration. So we want to make sure the squiggle is bigger, but it can be really fun to just keep scribbling all over the paper, and then this is too big and it's too complicated. There are too many little pieces everywhere, and that makes it really hard to find space to put your own ideas in there. So not too big, not too small. What I normally do is I give myself about 3 seconds to draw my squiggly line. I try to make sure that it's not too complicated, but it goes all the way across the paper so that I have stuff to work with all around the paper. Ready, set, go. 3, 2, 1. So there's my squiggly line. You can see it went all the way across the paper. It's pretty tall as well, but there's still a lot of space in it for me to think of my own ideas too. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the paper and look at it from every angle. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for my imagination to kind of have a little bit of a spark, like, oh, that reminds me of something that I've seen before. So I'm just trying to think of objects that I might be able to turn these into. Okay. I'm kind of feeling this. I think this is the side I'm going with. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start adding details. Wow, that was a challenge. Trying to turn a squiggly line into objects is a little bit harder than the creature and landscape that I did in the other videos. So I immediately saw this as a little dinosaur. And then this started to take the shape of a football. And then I thought, oh, I've got an idea now. I'm gonna put things that, like, you know, old toys and things that you might get rid of. So I was trying to think of things that are small. So I've got a football, I got a dinosaur. This shape was the hardest of all. And I got the idea that, hey, maybe this could be, you know, like a blanket that you get rid of when you get older. And then as I started to think of this idea, I could think of other things that went along with the idea. And I went ahead and I put like a little quarter, like, you know, some change might have fallen on the floor and got lost with these toys, as well as there's a little toy, a little block that little young babies use. Here's a teddy bear that's taken shape in the background. I still kind of feel like maybe I need to put something right there. Haven't figured that out yet, but I can definitely start to draw the details and outline these things while I'm still thinking about this shape right here, which actually this is kind of giving me an idea of maybe making some kind of like rocket ship or something. That could be kind of cool. I don't know, I'll work on that some more while I start outlining and coloring things. All right, so everything is traced in now. Now I'm just gonna add colors and probably some shadows and try to make it look as realistic as I can. I did something that you don't have to. Like I said, I thought of a theme. So I was thinking of these old toys that you might get rid of when you get older. Your objects might not be related at all. You know, you might have a banana and, you know, a Barbie doll. So the objects don't have to be related. It kind of depends on what the squiggle looks like to you. But sometimes it's easy if you think of a theme like food or toys or, you know, sports, because then it helps you focus on what you're thinking of, because we all have like millions of things in our brain that we've seen, and by picking a theme, it's easier to focus on objects so that, you know, we're not just sitting here frustrated trying to come up with ideas. So, like I said, it could be totally random, or you could have a theme, but now I'm ready to color and shade things in. Finished. And here we have our picture of random objects that we got from a squiggly line. And I think two things that really make the picture look as good as it can be is, one, making sure that you color the entire piece of paper. There's just something about finishing the entire piece of paper that says this is a finished picture. It doesn't look like I need to keep working on it. And number two, trying to put some shading in there. It creates some space between the objects, and it helps them to separate themselves from the rest of the picture. And it makes them look more realistic in 3D. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you like turning the squiggly lines into pictures, you can also check out the video about making a creature from a squiggly line and making a landscape from a squiggly line. And I hope you have fun, and I will see you next time.